The studio lights were so bright they felt cruel, and in the instant Reba McEntire rose from her chair, the practiced warmth of morning television collapsed into a stunned silence that seemed to echo through every living room watching. If you believe in hope, compassion, and second chances, this is a moment to pause with us. Viewers of Kindness Corner, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, because stories about human dignity only matter when we choose to listen. This story is a fictional, cinematic dramatization inspired by the pressure of public life and private boundaries, not a claim about real events. The morning had begun like any other, washed in clean daylight that filtered through the tall windows of the studio. Outside, the city shimmered with early traffic and coffee cups, while inside, producers moved with the precise choreography of routine. Reba arrived calm and composed, her posture shaped by decades on stages where every step mattered. To the world, she was an icon of strength and resilience. To herself, she was a woman who had learned to carry loss quietly, turning pain into melody and perseverance into craft. Her journey had never been simple. Long before fame, she had known instability and sacrifice, learning early that survival often required a steady smile. Music became her refuge, a place where sorrow could be shaped into something beautiful. But even after success, grief had visited her life with relentless honesty, leaving invisible scars that never fully faded. She had learned how to honor those scars privately, protecting them from the glare of public curiosity. The interview began gently, with safe reflections and familiar highlights. The host smiled, the cameras glided, and the daylight outside remained indifferent. But as the conversation shifted, the questions edged closer to the parts of her life she guarded most carefully. The studio, once expansive, began to feel constricting. Reba felt the old weight return, the expectation that vulnerability must always be available, that every wound should be opened for the sake of a compelling segment. Her hands rested still, betraying none of the tightening in her chest. Years of experience had taught her how to remain poised under scrutiny. Yet the deeper the questions went, the more she sensed a boundary being tested. It was not anger that stirred within her, but exhaustion, the kind that accumulates after a lifetime of being strong in public while healing in private. Daylight streamed across the set, illuminating every detail, leaving nowhere to hide. She thought of the long road that had brought her here, of the people she had lost, and the promises she had made to herself about how much she would give away. In that moment, she realized that staying seated would mean betraying those promises. Strength, she understood, was not always about enduring. Sometimes it was about choosing to stand. When she rose, it was with a quiet resolve that startled the room. Crew members paused, unsure whether to move. The audience at home felt the shift immediately, sensing that something deeply human was unfolding beneath the polished surface of television. This was not a performance, but an instinctive act of self-preservation. Backstage, away from the lights, the noise softened. Reba took a breath that felt like the first honest one she had taken all morning. Outside, the city continued its rhythm, unaware of the private reckoning that had just occurred. She reflected on how often women in the public eye are asked to relive their pain as proof of authenticity, and how rarely their silence is respected as an act of courage. In the studio she left behind, the host sat with an unfamiliar stillness. The absence on the chair spoke louder than any words. For the first time, the line between curiosity and compassion was unmistakably clear. It became evident that some stories are not meant for the clock of live television, but for the slower, kinder pace of personal healing. As the day wore on, reactions rippled outward. Some viewers felt unsettled, others inspired. Yet beneath every response was a shared recognition of vulnerability. Reba, riding through sunlit streets, felt a quiet clarity settle in. She knew the headlines would come, but she also knew she had honored herself in a way no applause could rival. Later, in a quiet space filled with memorabilia and soft afternoon light, she reflected on the meaning of strength. It was not the absence of pain, nor the willingness to expose it endlessly, but the wisdom to decide when enough is enough. The choice to leave had not been a retreat, it had been an affirmation. Before the final emotional closing, we invite you to take a moment and leave a comment. Your words might remind someone else that their boundaries matter too. If this story touched your heart, please support Kindness Corner by liking, sharing, or subscribing. Your support helps keep these compassionate narratives alive. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows through the windows, Reba felt a profound peace. She understood that sometimes the most powerful message is delivered not through words or songs, but through a simple, resolute act. Walking away, she realized, was not an ending. It was a beginning, one that affirmed the quiet truth that dignity, once claimed, can inspire countless others to do the same.